Hare Krishna, good evening, warm welcome. Thank you for taking time of your busy schedules and joining our Gita Amrutam Rasamalayam systematic study of Bhagavad Gita class. We are on Dhyana Yoga, Yoga of Self Control. Most important for us because we are all students in search of peace. Let's one second, let me make this. Yeah. Let us explore Krishna's meditation path, meditation blueprint together with attention, reflection, and application. We will be covering verses 15 to 21, followed by quiz, audience reflections, invite, encourage our audience to step in and share your reflections. Very short reflections, one reflections, even for 30 seconds, that is worth it. Followed by Q&A. Before we start the session, I offer my humble obeisances to my dear Guru Maharaj, His Holiness Gopal Krishna Goswami Maharaj, my Shiksha Guru, Gaur Vilas Prabhuji, and we will start with Sri Guru Pranama Mantra. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Gnananjana Shalakaya Chakshur Unmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. With their blessings, let us dive into the session today. We love Golok Vrindavana and Golok Express is doing quite well. We are on the sixth chapter. What are we going to discover today? What are we going to study today? Learn today? It's about the importance of conquering the mind. Krishna's meditation blueprint, Dhyana Yoga, path to inner peace and realization. The acronym of this chapter is easy. So it appears easy. The acronym also says that. But as we go through the verses, we understand we need to practice, we need to cultivate discipline to master our mind. So E is enemy of friend, Astanga Yoga. We are going to cover this in the detail. It's a large section in this chapter, success and failure, and the successful yogi. We will see this in the subsequent classes. Today, before we start the class, I thought I must actually experience what meditation looks like, what it means to sit in a place for 2 minutes and focus your mind on a single subject, and that is Krishna. So I sat down. You can try this at your homes and tell us, share your experiences. What happened? In the first 30 seconds, my mind was busy. It started asking me what is on the menu for dinner. Second thought crossed my mind in the next few seconds. Oh, that's an email which I have to urgently answer and I have forgotten about it. The third thought. Yesterday, we had a very strange, funny exchange with a person, and that continued in my mind. I was thinking, why did that person act so funny? So, in 2 minutes, these were the thoughts that was crossing my mind, and I was not able to concentrate. And I suddenly realized I am supposed to be meditating. And this is not the time for me to be thinking about emails, past experience, dinner, etc. So, the biggest challenge that I have discovered for myself as we start this chapter is it is not sitting. All of us can find a good place, sit comfortably, close our eyes. Till here, it is easy. But what is difficult, what is challenging is the next step. Can you silence your mind? Can you stop the thoughts bombarding the mind? The mind moves from one place to another in microseconds. That is the challenge for an Ashtanga yogi. Now, as I have experienced this, invite all of you to experience this too. I show you a picture of a lamp. And I also say this lamp is in a windless place. No flicker, no bending, and it burns steadily. How many of us can make our minds as quiet, as steady as this lamp in a windless place? Think of this. This is a question for reflection. When was the last time your mind felt like the lamp? Today's session shows you how it is achievable. Now, this steady flame is like our mind. If we can make our mind quiet, peaceful, not restless, restful, we can glow like this flame. That is the essence of an Ashtanga yogi. Can we make our mind silent and make it glow like this lamp? As I was reading the newspaper yesterday, you can all open Times of India, I realized focus, concentration, discipline is not just for Ashtanga yogis. It is true even for a sports person. This is the headline in Times of India. It says, Mirabai trades pizza for discipline in busy year. So this is how, even for a sports person, she has to maintain discipline. And Mirabai Sonu is the silver medalist in wrestling in the last Olympics. So she has given a public statement in the press saying that I will refrain myself from indulging myself in pizza and such other dishes because my focus is on the 2026 Olympic gold medal. So that is her focus, and this is what she is trying to achieve by controlling her mind. So, mind control is important for all fields, including an Ashtanga yogi. That's the message I wanted to highlight. It comes from practice, it comes from discipline. Where did we say end the last session? Just to reflect. Mind controlled, peace revealed. That was the headlines. Then I said the journey begins. Today's session is the continuation of what we stopped in the last class. Path to inner peace and realization. Don't try to read through the verses because we are going through each verse step by step. But it consists of proper meditation, a balanced lifestyle, mind control, inner experience, and supreme bliss. So it is within our grasp to achieve supreme bliss if we follow the path that Krishna has defined for us. Before this is the session beginning, we are in the Arudakshato stage up to verse 17, and from 6.18 we go to Aruda, the perfection stage of our Ashtanga Yoga. Before I delve into the depth of Ashtanga Yoga, I must refresh our thoughts, our memories about what is this yoga ladder. Quick, very easy to remember. Sakama karma is results focused. Nishkama karma is duties focused. Gnana yoga is self realization. Ashtanga yoga is mastering the mind. So remember the steady flame in a windless place. That is the challenge of Ashtanga yoga, and Krishna is walking us through his blueprint as to how we can achieve that. And of course, most of us here are devotees. For us, devotion is most important. We don't have to go through the challenges of an Ashtanga yogi, but this is how the yoga ladder looks. So we are in Ashtanga yoga, so we are studying how we should go through the process of mastering our minds. Before we get into the class, I want to refresh what we studied in the last class where we stopped. We did 6.14. And let me tell you, windless place and a lamp growing steadily is going to be a most referred to example in the class today. There is a verse which is 6.19, if I recollect correctly, which is giving this an example as to how we should try and approach this subject, how we should control our minds, make our minds as steady as this lamp in a windless place. The moment wind, in terms of desires, attacks us, the wind, as the wind bends the flame, the desires bend our mind. We are not going to be steady. There is an every chance of even the mind, the flame getting put out. Similarly, mind will not be able to concentrate. So this flame is representing our mind. Remember this, we must try and move from a windy place to a windless place. If we want to light a lamp in a room, if you go and place the lamp near a window or the door, there will be strong wind. If you know that I have to light this lamp in my first attempt, then what do? You move the lamp to a place which is slightly more sheltered. Since we know that mind is always disturbed, always distracted, we should try to move the mind away from external desires. This is what is the essence of 6.14. Quick recap. Prasantatma vigata bihir brahmachari vrate stitah manas samyamya machitto yukta asita matparaha. Translation. Thus, with an unagitated, subdued mind, devoid of fear, completely free from sex life, one should meditate upon me, yuktasita matparaha, within the heart, and make me the ultimate goal of life. This is where we ended the last class. What is prasantatma? It is peaceful mind. We must control our minds to become peaceful. It is not peaceful by nature. Vigita Bihir, free from fear. Brahmachari vrate stitaha. This is the first time Krishna is bringing the need for brahmacharya, celibacy, vow of celibacy, sexual abstinence. Because yogi and yogini, if they were to meet, if they were to mingle, you are only adding to the complexities of controlling your mind. If you want to focus on Brahman, then Krishna says, try and practice strict vow of brahmacharya. Brahmachari vrate sthitaha. Manasamyamya machitto. Regulate your mind, remove the desires. We will see the types of desires also going forward, and fix your mind on me. Yukta asita matparaha. Matparaha means having me as your supreme goal. Purpose of yoga is to attain me. Realize that. This is what the goal of an Astanga yogi is, and Krishna is saying how you should be able to achieve that. So, with this brief recap, we jump into the first verse of the day, 6.15. Now, this is a very interesting verse. Listen carefully. I start with an example so that we understand what is the essence of this verse. The verse itself becomes easier to understand if we understand the background and the context. So, this story is about a child who has a cataract problem in the eyes, and the father is worried. And this story is from Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami. He has given us the story, and I will spend a couple of minutes to take you through the story, which also gives you the essence of the verse. This verse has a line which says, Shantim Nirvana Paramam. Now, Shantim is peace. Nirvana has different meanings depending on what philosophy you follow. Now, Nirvana, Paramam, is the ultimate bliss, ultimate happiness. No confusion on these two words. But Nirvana has a lot of connotations, and we must spend a couple of seconds to understand what is Nirvana, how it could be misunderstood, what is Srila Prabhupada's explanation, and how we should follow that as it is defined in the purport. So the story goes like this. Now, Nirvana is used in Buddhism, which means extinction of existence. It is called voidism. Now, you may be wondering, why am I telling you about Buddhism here? Because this is the part of the story. The next step, Nirvana also means, as per an impersonalist who says all sense objects are false, reject them, avoid misery. So keep these two definitions in mind, and let's go with this example. So the father is worried because the child is complaining of strain in the eyesight, not able to concentrate, not able to see, vision is blurred. So he is wondering what I should do. That time, one of the uncles walks into the house. He is a Buddhist, a Voidist. So he looks at the child and he says, oh, do one thing. The best thing is, why don't you? No, let's reverse the example. He is not a voidist, he is an impersonalist. So what he says is that all sense objects are false. This pain is this misery is also false. Nothing is true. This is all illusion. Do one thing. Let's take out the eyes, pluck the eyes of the child. Solution achieved. The eye is gone, pain is relieved, the child is happy. The father says, you must be out of your mind to be talking like this. It's after all my child and not your child. He doesn't act on that advice. Next few days, another relation of theirs walks in, and he is a widest. He says, oh, extinction of existence is my belief. I am a Buddhavadi, so what we can do, let's kill the boy. Take this example in the right context. The Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur has given this as an example to help us understand the purpose, the power of nirvana. It is not to be misinterpreted by as an impersonalist or a Buddhist. There is a devotee view also. Remove the eyes of the child, kill the child. They do look very, very impractical and inhuman. Father was not convinced. He was waiting. And then another uncle of theirs walks in. And he is a devotee of Krishna. He says, what's the problem with the child? Can you explain to me? The father says, this is the problem. The relative says, my dear sir, this is a simple problem. I think not at this age, but yes, sometimes this does happen. Maybe there could be a cataract, and that's why the child is having problem in his vision. Let's take him to the doctor, and doctor will give us the solution. And a cataract operation today takes a few minutes. And true to his advice, they visit the doctor, and it is diagnosed as cataract, and the child is happily having his vision restored back to its normal active life. So this is a nirvana for a devotee. What is nirvana? As per Srila Prabhupada in the purport, he says nirvana is not end of illusion, not end of misery, not end of existence. It is release from material bondage. The moment you have removed the cataract, the vision is restored. We must remove the inclination towards material pleasures, control your mind, and then you're back on the path of focus on Krishna. Second point, what nirvana stands is awakening of spiritual life. The child will forever remember that, yes, I had this small pain experience in my childhood, and this is how my devotee uncle solved it. And his faith in Krishna stands doubly fortified. So, this is Shantim Nirvana Paramam. The joy of the child was ultimate bliss. The joy of the parents was ultimate bliss. So, with this story, let's jump into the verse. Yunjan evam sadatmanam yogi niyata manasaha shantim nirvana paramam mat samstam adhigacchati. So now you will be able to understand and identify what is the essence of shantim nirvana paramam. Goal of Ashtanga Yoga is liberation. That is what Krishna is telling us. Mat samstam adhigacchati. Let's go to the translation. Thus, practicing constant control of the body, mind, and activities. It's a package. The mystic transcendentalist, his mind regulated, attains to the kingdom of God or the abode of Krishna by cessation of material existence. It's not by removing the eyes, it's not by killing the child, the pain will be removed. It is just by controlling the parameters which are affecting us. That will take you to Mat Samstam Adhigacchati. We have studied this in this chapter 6.5, 6.6. We will go through that, where Krishna says, please remember, in Ashtanga Yoga, mind is what you have to master. It can be an enemy, it can be a friend. In 6.5, he says, One must deliver himself with the help of his mind. So, for Ashtanga Yogi, as you saw in the yoga ladder, mastering mind is the key to perfection, is the key to liberation, and not degrade himself. The mind is the friend of conditioned soul and his enemy as well. So, this verse lays the foundation, bedrock of understanding what is that we need to do to achieve that bliss and peace and that elusive happiness. In 6.6, he says, for him who has conquered the mind is the best of friends. Underline this word. One who has conquered the mind. So we must put in all our efforts while we go through this chapter of Ashtanga Yoga that mastering the mind is the key to ultimate happiness. But for one who has failed to do so, his mind will remain the greatest enemy. So it's very simple. You can either make it your friend or it becomes your enemy. The choice is yours. This becomes the foundation stone, saying Krishna has very clearly told you in the beginning that, my dear sir, please understand what is essential. If you do not do this, do not expect happiness, do not expect bliss. Let's go through the verse. Yunjan evam sadatmanam. So the first thing here is sadatmanam. Controlling the mind is not 1 hour, 1 day, one session, 1 quarter, half yearly, annual exercise. It is not something which we have to do just because we have to pass. No, this is a lifelong attempt, a lifelong effort. Concentrate, yunjan, sada, always and constantly. The moment you relax, the mind will become a monkey. It will run behind the desires and your entire effort is lost. Yogi niyata manasaha. How do you regulate your mind? Through practice. What did Mirabai do as an Olympic silver medalist? Her goal is Olympic gold. So she said, I will refrain from eating all the junk foods so that my health is maintained and I am able to conquer that goal of achieving the gold. That is Yogi Niyata Manasaha. Control your desires. Eating is not prohibited. Eating pizza is prohibited. Getting calories is not prohibited. Getting calories through such junk food is prohibited. Shantim Nirvana Paramam. So I'm sure you will now understand what Srila Prabhupada is telling us in the purport. Shantim is peace. Nirvana means release from material bondage. We are no longer slaves of that pizza, pasta, gulab jamun, rasgulla, whatever it is, which is not good for health if consumed in excess quantities. That is release from material bondage. We are not slaves of this food. We are the master of those desires. We will say, if I want to eat, I will eat this on this day when my health will allow. Second is awakening of spiritual life. That when you have the control, Krishna says, your mind becomes your friend. Mat samstam adhigacchati. What is the price? The price is samstam. Krishna is openly saying, you will attain my state. Adhigacchati, abide in me. That is the goal of an Ashtanga yogi. If you want to go to that goal, you must master the mind. That is the essence of this verse. So, goal of Ashtanga yoga is liberation. And what is liberation? Attain peace. Now we move to the section second. In this section, up to 6.18, it is supposed to be Arurakshato, beginner stage of yoga, Ashtanga yoga. But Krishna takes a break, takes a small detour, a small deviation, and says, while you have started all the doing the right things, knowing mind is my enemy, mind is my friend, how can I make it my friend, how I know that it is my enemy, all that is up till now. Here in the next two verses, easy verses but with profound message. Life is about balance. So he again starts, and from here he moves to the perfection stage of yoga from 6.18. So let's look at 6.16 and 6.17. Easy verses, no philosophy involved, but a lot of message involved. It has a direct implication whether you are an Ashtanga yogi, Sakama Karma yogi, Nishkama Karma yogi, or a Bhakti yogi. You must follow balance in life. Listen to the verse carefully. Easier verses, no strain, no heavy philosophy involved. नाति अस्नतस्तु योगोस्ति न चैकान्तम् अनास्नतः न चाति स्वप्नशीलस्य जागृतो नैव च अर्जुना. What is Krishna saying in this? He says, please maintain discipline. Ashtanga yoga is not just about sitting right, posture right, the sitting place identified well, focus, trying to concentrate, control your mind. All that can happen provided you maintain the basic minimum requirements. And what is that? The translation says there is no possibility of one becoming a yogi. Underline. He says, oh dear Arjuna, if one eats too much or eats too little, sleeps too much or does not sleep enough. So Krishna is it not, it is not rocket science. Anything in excess is bad. He's warning us very clearly. Please control your eating and sleeping habits. These are the basic building blocks for your progress as an Ashtanga yogi. Very easy verse. Nati asnatastu yogosti. Do not overeat. I am sure I don't have to give you any explanation. This picture tells you the story. Eat as much as you are hungry. It is said in yoga, you must never eat full up to 100%. You must leave your stomach. You should stop eating by the time you feel I am 80% full. That is essence of regulated eating. Na chaikantam anasnataha. He says, avoid excessive fasting. Now, fasting is also another, it can become a craze. Now, we do Ekadashi. Okay. Now, there is one Ekadashi which says you can do Nirjala. But there are people who say every Ekadashi I will do Nirjala. Now, that is something which is dependent on your health. Is it tolerable? Is it beneficial? Don't try to overdo things because you feel I'm being slightly more, what you can say, strict in following the austerity guidelines. No, this is not something which we should do just because we like doing it. That's what Krishna is trying to say. He says, avoid excessive fasting. Do Ekadashi, avoid grains is the rules of the game. Do not overstep, do not overdo it because we are not in that category. Now, let us say you are a sage, you are in a institution, you are in a mata, you are in a temple where your entire life is there for devotion. For them, it doesn't matter. But for us, who are in the day to day routine, you have work to do, you have a college to attend, you have a bus to catch, you have a local train to travel. When you are in this life, try and follow what is required. Don't do excessive fasting. Na chati swapna shilasya. Don't sleep too much. Now, this is something which is equally applicable to all of us. The moment we are in the working life or in the student life, weekend is meant to laze around. You will wake up at 8 o'clock, it's a relaxed day. You say that I have not slept in the whole week, so I want to relax. So Krishna says, please understand there is a guideline to it. Maintain a constant schedule. I can understand 15 minutes, half an hour here and there, but don't try to say that on a Saturday and a Sunday, I will wake up at 10 a.m. That is not good for your health. So don't sleep too much. Now, this is a matter of discipline. Jagruto naivacha Arjuna. Don't stay awake for long too. And this is a message for many students, workaholics, burn the midnight oil. I have seen my own children. They are awake till 4 a.m. in the morning, they sleep till 6:30, and they are off to the tuition. What is that? There is some price you have to pay for such misuse, abuse of your health. So Krishna says, don't stay awake for too long. Maintain a steady balance. This is the most easiest of the verses in this chapter. The next is also equally easy. Just to conclude, leave the thought in our minds. What is our daily reflection story? What can we implement in our lives? What we must aim to implement in our lives? All of us are lazy to some extent. All of us try to overdo some things. Try and say that I have understood from this wisdom of Gita, art of living is to balance the self. We are eternal as souls, but we are living in this world presently. So we must look after our health. Always try to maintain a steady pace. Don't overeat, don't undereat, don't oversleep, don't undersleep. Try to maintain a steady balance. Let's move to the next verse, another easy verse. The advice continues. Yuktahara viharasya yukta chestasya karmasu yukta swapnavabhodasya yogo bhavati dukkaha. Translation. So he's continuing this whole advice on regulation. So he says, he who is regulated in his habits of eating, sleeping, recreation, and work. It is for all practical purpose your entire day. Can mitigate all material pains by practicing the yoga system. So this is the advice that Krishna is giving us. Material regulation catalyzes yogic liberation. So if you want to build a good house which is going to last 100 years, 500 years, for example, the Sri Rama temple in Ayodhya has been built with a designed life of 1500 years. Just imagine that's the engineering calculation marvel. They said that if our ancestors would build a temple which lasts for centuries together, we must also follow their footsteps and we will build a temple which has got a minimum defined life of 1500 years. So, if you want to achieve that long life, you must go through building the foundation very, very strong. So, Krishna is saying you must regulate not just one or two, you must regulate your all the activities throughout the entire day. So if you see here, if you want to be an Ashtanga yogi, your reading, your eating, your sleeping, your recreation, your work, everything has to be regulated. Yuktahara viharasya, regulated in eating and recreation. Yukta chestasya karmasu, regulate your work too. If your office time is between 9 to 5, there are people who hang around in the office just for whatever reasons till 7, 7:30, come home late, sleep late, and repeat the cycle again and again. What for? If you are true to what is the value of Ashtanga Yogi that Krishna has taught us in Gita, we must try and beat the stress. Now, when I was in the working life, I used to leave home at 7 a.m., reach the office at 8 o'clock, and leave the office by 3, 3:30, irrespective of what work pressure could be. Because you have to manage the stress. Driving in traffic versus driving home in 45 minutes is the joy that only you can experience. So you must make little changes in your work style to ensure that I regulate work and I don't become a slave of that work. Yukta swapnavabhodasya, regulate the sleep. Avabhodasya means being aware, deep understanding. Remember, self awareness is going to be very, very critical, crucial, and most repeated. What is this self awareness? Avabhodasya. Self awareness is if I ask you to attend the course of Gita, you are aware of it, but you may not prioritize attending it for various genuine reasons. There, you are prioritizing external attractions to what you are supposed to do because you have agreed to be part of Gita Amrutam Rasamalayam session, team, family, but we find reasons not to join. So, what it shows is avabodhasya. You are deeply aware, I have to attend, but I find excuses, genuine as they may be, not to attend. Then your awareness is more external focused than internal focused. Attending 1 hour of Gita session is meant for your soul and not your body. You must subjugate your bodily needs to ensure your mind, your soul gets the wisdom that Gita can give. Now, this is self awareness. You only can control, you only can guide, you only can motivate, provided you are self aware of what is important for me to do. Avabodhasya, deep understanding. I will do Monday to Friday this work, I will do over the weekend this work. This is required. Yogo bhavati dukkha. If you are able to follow this path, destruction of misery is assured. That is the success of yoga. Let's move to the so, what is the essence of this material regulation? We have to balance, we have to regulate, we have to follow discipline, and we have to plan our time. Time is the constant for everyone, but what you do with your time is dependent on your discipline, your state of mind, and your determination that I will achieve this come what may. That should be the mindset when you start your activities, start your day. Two great examples to inspire us. As an Ashtanga yogi, for you, mastering the mind has become a science. As a devotee, if you see this, Srila Rupa Goswami, you had to remind him to sleep in the day, sleep over the day, because he was so much immersed in devotion. For him, eating, sleeping, waking, everything was secondary. Just pleasing Krishna was the primary goal. For a devotee, it becomes far easier than a Ashtanga yogi. Haridas Thakur, our entire day is built around pleasing Krishna. So, controlling our mind, mastering our mind, making our mind reject the desires comes far easily than an Ashtanga yogi. I must bring this into this session because we must remember that we are devotees and for us the task is far easier. What is the learning for our lives, daily lives? We must take these one liners and memorize them. Help me be materially regulated. I will try to cut corners and make myself efficient so that I am devotionally connected. I am making this point again and again because I find this is the fallacy of modern lifestyles. We commit, but we don't deliver. And this happens not in just attending Gita classes, it happens on many of our day to day tasks. So, my sincere prayers and request is try to regulate your material activities. Do not sacrifice your devotional connection. 1 hour in a week is the only time that you're sparing for your spiritual awakening that must be adhered to. Balanced life leads to freedom from suffering through yoga. We now move. We had Arurakshatu stage for beginners, 17 and 18, where regulation, balance, Yukta Viharasya. So Krishna sidestepped, gave us that message, and said that that's your building blocks, that's your foundation. And now he says, if you are able to do this, if you are able to identify mind as your friend or an enemy, you understand the steps that are required to focus your mind, then you are ready for the Aruda stage of devotion, Aruda stage of Ashtanga Yoga. Let's look at 6.18. We have talked about wind, which is desires, which can disturb a lamp. That wind for us is desire. And the desire can be two types. I experience something, I want to experience it. Or craving. I already have a good experience, but I want to experience it again. Now, these two are like diseases. It is like infection. What do you do if your body suffers an infection? We go to the doctor, take a antibiotic course, reasonable medication, and the body is cured. Similarly, you should understand that I have an infection of this kind of desires which constantly bombard me. I must try and take medication. I must try and improve my focus to reduce this. Eliminate them is that the highest stage. Can I reduce? Can I minimize? Can I get into this binge eating, binge watching to an extent lesser than what it was last month? So Krishna is telling material desires are a disease. Please understand. Eating an ice cream in the night time can lead to diseases. Overeating can lead to disturbances. So, your desires are a disease. Control, regulate, minimize, and then try to eliminate. Eliminate is at the highest stage. Let's look into the verse. Yada viniyatam chittam atmani eva avatistate nispruha sarva kamebhyo yukta iti uchyate tada. So, mind controlled, self controlled leads to self awareness. The moment we say that I am investing 1 hour for Gita, you come across many wisdom thoughts which we are maybe third hand, nth hand information, but here you are sitting in a live class to absorb what is the pearls of wisdom that Krishna has shared. What is the translation of this? When the yogi by practice of yoga, disciplines his mental activities, and becomes situated in transcendence, devoid of all material desires, he is said to be well established in yoga. The first two examples of desire and craving is the essence of this verse. Krishna says, if you are able to control this, they are not just desires, they are coming as an infection to you and you are not aware of it. He says, if you are able to control that, you are well established in yoga. We have read this in 6.8 where Krishna described, he says, Yukta iti uchyate yogi describes inner satisfaction. He says, Yukta iti uchyate yogi samalostrasma kancha kanchanaha. So this is the state of the person. We have studied the same word, Yukta iti uchyate yogi. In 6.18, Krishna says, Yukta iti uchyate tada. What is the difference? There it is a state of person, here it is a state of mind. Because controlling and mastering the mind, as we go further, you will see even greater emphasis on mastering the mind. So the focus is shifting to control your senses. Yada viniyatam chittam. Your conscious should be clear perception. Now, there is a lot of understanding and learning involved in this word. Chittam. Satchit Ananda is the eternal feature of the Lord and eternal feature of the soul. So, what is Chit? Chit is pure consciousness. What is Chittam? Krishna is not saying Yada Viniyatam Chit. He says Yada Viniyatam Chittam. So, Chitta is consciousness which is rooted through matter. Now, how do I understand the difference between Chit and Chitta? A very famous analogy, which is said, imagine the movie screen. It's called the movie screen analogy. If you were to step into a movie hall, what happens? The lights dimmed and the movie starts, and the next 1, 2, 3 hours, you are completely engrossed in the movie. Chit continues to be your soul, which is resting in your body, which has absolutely got nothing to do with the movie. But that consciousness, when it is rooted in the material picture that is being shown in front of us, for that few hours, the chit has become chitta because it is anchored in matter, in material sorrows, material joy, material success, material love story, and what have you. So when the pure consciousness gets rooted in material world, that becomes chitta. So chit becomes chitta. That's what Krishna says, yada viniyatam chittam. Let's look at the verse itself. Yada viniyatam chittam, one's consciousness is brought under control. So he is again saying, try and reduce the chit going towards chitta. Bring chitta towards chit. Remove the material affliction, material affection. Atmani eva avatistate. You are becoming self aware. Self aware is, should I watch the movie? Should I not watch the movie? Once you are in the movie, you are going to be in chitta consciousness. You cannot be pure consciousness. So we should decide where we should be, how many times we should be. Nispruha, no desire. So desires continues as a common thread. Sarva kamebhyo, no hankering for any desires. Either you have it or you don't have it. Both are the same. Try to be happy with what you have. Yukta iti yuchyate tada, well situated in yoga. This is what we should try to do. Reduce our affliction for external attractions. Focus within. That's the essence. Self control leads to real self awareness. So, self awareness is not an exotic, esoteric word. Self awareness is what we know we must do and what we know we are not doing. Self awareness is reduce what we are not doing and increase what we are supposed to do. That's the balance. That's how you progress in yoga. For a pure devotee, it's very simple. Srimad Bhagavatam quotes this famous verse. The example is King Ambarisha. And what did he do? He spent his entire day, even though he was king, as using his every faculty, hands, feet, tongue, head, ears, to praise the glory of the Lord, to serve the Lord. So that becomes much easier for a devotee because we spend sufficient time for chanting, sufficient time doing puja in our deity rooms every day, visiting temples, trying to do some small little seva in the temples, and our day is well occupied. So, for a devotee, this becomes far easier, but for an Ashtanga yogi, it is discipline to control his mind. This is becoming self aware. King Ambarisha had all the pleasures and joys of the world, but he still said, I will be in my Satchit Ananda state and I don't want to go to the Chittam state. Nispruha, no desires. Sarvakamebhyo, no hankering for any desires. He had the best of kingdoms. He managed the kingdom as a service to the Lord. It was not that for his self enjoyment he had so much of wealth. He used that wealth for the well being of the citizens, well being of the Lord, and he was just a, what you can say, storekeeper of that wealth. That is the mood of a devotee. So, most of our lessons, we will have what Ashtanga Yogi must do, and then I'll also have one interspersed slice, one message to show that for a devotee, it is slightly well defined, slightly more easier. Next verse. Yatha deepo nivatastho nengati sopamasmruta yogino yata chittasya yunjato yogam atmanaha. Minimize the wind of disturbing desires to maximize the flame of meditation. I told you this flame burning in a windless place is a verse which Krishna has quoted. So this is not an example we have picked up randomly. It is there in this verse. Yata deepo niyatasto. What is the essence of this verse? Now, see, most of us try to find peace. And how do we do it? Peace is, let us say, defined as happiness. So I'll go and say that I want to buy a new phone. That gives me happiness. Or I want to be using my phone very well because I have paid a high amount for that. So, what I do, I have this toy with me and I want to find peace. I want to sit in a place quietly and meditate. But what happens? The phone says ping, ping, ping. Please read the notifications. You have 18 unread messages. If you have this disturbance, do you think you will be able to concentrate? No. So we must try and detach ourselves from distractions. So our notifications in the phone, which is a crucial, critical tool of our daily lives, can come in the way of our achieving peace. Let's go to the verse. As a lamp in a windless place does not waver. We all have seen that. So the transcendentalist whose mind is controlled remains always steady in his meditation on the transcendental self. Control your desires, control your cravings, and your mind becomes steady. So minimize the wind of disturbing desires. If you want to sit in the room and meditate for half an hour, keep your mobile phone in the no room where you can't even hear if it rings. That's the only way you can make the flame burn steady. That's the only way you can make your mind become steady. Then you can maximize your effort at meditation. Yatha is exactly. Deepo is lamp. Nivata, no wind. Stho, when the lamp is situated in the windless place, what happens? Nengate, steady flame. Sopama means lamp. Smruta, it does not waver, it burns brightly. Yogino yatta chittasya, mind is controlled. Yunjito yogam atmanaha will remain steady in meditation. The moment I don't have the phone, the moment I don't have this notifications, the ping, ping, ping noise, my mind has a reasonable chance of becoming concentrated on the task. Minimize the wind of disturbing desires to maximize the flame of meditation. Poetic form of the verse, Chaitanya Charan Prabhu is a genius. He says, as a lamp in a windless place burns bright, unflickering, steady in its light, so is the yogi whose mind is still, absorbed in yoga, focused in will. So, Ashtanga Yoga is the question of will, not sitting in the place still. If you have the phone next to you, you can't meditate. So, the learning for our daily lives help me to protect and power my desire for you. Help me to achieve that desire to attend Gita classes because I have committed myself to attend. That is the mantra for our daily lives. We come to the next verse. We are in the advanced stage of yoga, Arudha. We start with the story. I'm sure most of you would have heard this. Janak Maharaj was once in a meeting. It was a spiritual meeting. Everyone was talking about sharing their experiences. How do we improve our self awareness? As I mentioned, self awareness is knowing what you must do, what you want to do, and do it rather than have a plan and don't do it. Suddenly, a guard rushes in and says, "Oh, dear Maharaj, the palace is on fire." You can see the fire in this. Maharaj continued the meeting. But to his surprise, it was his palace which was on fire, but all the assembled audience started running helter and skelter. One man said, I have precious scriptures kept near the place and I don't want them to be lost. Another fellow said, I have valuables stored there, I want to save them. Another person said, if the palace is on fire, in no time the wind will bring it here, we will be at risk, I will run. But the man whose palace was on fire, Janaka Maharaj, slept or sat peacefully. After some time, the guard rushed in and said, Dear Maharaj, the fire is put off. And all these people who had rushed outside started coming back. And they said, We all panicked, we all reacted, but we didn't see anything like this coming from you. Why is that? Janak Maharaj said, I am not the palace. I am not burning. My job is to be improving my self awareness, and my self awareness is being here, reflecting on what is that is of importance to me. That is self awareness. That is the essence of this verse. It says, in the still mind, in the depths of meditation, the self reveals itself. Noise, external disturbances are a spoil sport. They will not help you in meditation. Let's go through the verse. Yatro paramate chittam niruddham yoga sevaya yatra chaivatmana atmanam pashyan atmani tushyati. Stop outer obsession to begin inner perception. Again, an inner verse, but full of philosophy, very well connected to controlling the mind, mastering the mind. When the mind, restrained from material activities, becomes still by the practice of yoga, then the yogi is able to behold the soul through the purified mind and he rejoices in the inner joy. We have seen this in the last class too. There are 5 stages for controlling the mind. I will add another 2 pieces of information here. Krishna is using the word niruddham. So this is now the samadhi, the ultimate stage, nirodha, there are 2 types of samadhis. One is sampragnata samadhi, which is mind focused, ekagrata, and another is asampragnata samadhi. Samadhi. Nirodha is in asampragnata samadhi. Mind is stopped. Mind is controlled. Mind is your friend. Niruddham yoga sevaya. Through yoga, reach that stage. O Arjuna, is what Krishna says. What are these 5 stages? Very quickly, easy to remember. Mudha. The word mudha is you're a fool, deluded, driven by tamas, ignorance. Kshipta, you're agitated. Rajas, you're driven by rajas, passion. Vikshipta, most of us are in this phase, distracted. We are trying to be moving from rajas to sattva. We are neither here nor there. Mood disturbances happen. Ekagra, repeated attempts to concentrate because mind is a monkey, difficult to concentrate. Controlled spiritual consciousness awakens. If you are reaching the stage of Nirodha, you will have your mind is silent and you will be able to awaken your spiritualness. You can understand what is mind control is a serious student. All of us have passed this stage. Many of you will be in this stage. Just before that exam, that half an hour revision of important points is at most concentrated effort. You know what we have studied in the whole year, we will be able to refresh in that half an hour. That is the kind of concentration you must bring in if you want to control your mind. Sixastakam prayers by Chaitanya Prabhu says, Cheto darpanamarjanam bhava mahadavagni nirvapanam. He says in these prayers, cleans the heart of all the dust accumulated over the years and extinguish the fire of conditional life of repeated birth and death. What is the essence of this? It's very much connected to this verse. Use your mind as a clean mirror. We are using our mind as a clean mirror to see the body. But the prayer is, with purification, make your mind become mirror of the soul. Look within and not outside. The verse is very easy. Yatro paramate chittam, again chittam, it is not chitta. Bringing consciousness to cessation, not just control. So it is going one step forward. Niruddham, transcend the modes altogether. You are no longer operating in Rajas, Sattva, Tamas. You are beyond the modes. Transcend the modes altogether. How? Through Yoga Sevaya. Niruddham Yoga Sevaya is your mantra. Take away from this verse. Yatra chaivatmana atmanam. Mind is turned towards the self. Don't look at your notification. Look at what you have to do to keep your soul happy. Pashyan atmani tushyati. One delights in oneself. So using the mind as a clean mirror to see our body, either our present state, with purification, make your mind become the mirror of the soul. The learning for our daily lives, when the mind functions primarily as a mirror instead of as a window, we gain self realization. Window is to look at things outside. Mirror is to see what you are. That is the essence, that is the journey for an Ashtanga yogi. The last verse of the day, which happiness never ends. All of us want this. Krishna says in this verse, Sukam atyantikam yat tad buddhigrayam atindriyam veti yatra na chaivayam sthitas chalati tattvataha. The intelligence opens the door to transsensory happiness. You must have intelligence to control your mind. In that joyous state, one is situated in boundless transcendental happiness realized through transcendental senses. If you are able to overcome the desire for external enjoyment, you will be able to transcend the senses. Established as one never departs from the truth. Once you practice, it becomes a habit. It never goes. It's like, if I've learned cycling, I have not cycled for the last 40 years. But my children said, no, Papa, we are going cycling. And I sat on the cycle and I was a little uncomfortable for 2 minutes. But after that, I was cycling as though I have been cycling all my life. So, if you are able to train yourself, you will never forget that. It is an art which you acquire for your lifetime. Established thus, one never departs from the truth. Sthitas chalati tattvataha. I give you an example of what is this joy, bliss that we are all seeking. Archimedes is the famous scientist. He invented the term eureka. If I were to ask you what is the meaning of eureka, we may struggle to say. It says, I have found it. That's the meaning of eureka. He was once having a bath in his bathtub and he was absorbed thinking. His mind was focused on only solving one problem. His king had told him, I want you to establish the purity of my throne, my crown. And Archimedes didn't know how to do it. And suddenly in the bath, he got the idea how he can solve that problem. Then he ran to the king without wearing clothes, shocking the people around, and says, Eureka, O king, I have found out the solution. And he told the king he can establish the purity of the crown. Buddhigrayam atindriyam. Buddhigrayam is perceived by the intellect. A scientist at his level, he was always focused. His mind was never able to get distracted. He had only one goal. I want to find a solution, and he succeeded. That is Buddhigrayam atindriyam. What is atindriyam? Ultimate happiness beyond the senses. He didn't even worry that I am not clothed. What will people think of me? He ran in happiness. That is the joy. That is what you say when you say transcend the senses. Boundless transcendental happiness is what is available for us for the taking, provided we follow the steps. Sukham atyantikam yattat. One gets limitless, ultimate happiness. Buddhigrayam. Remember Archimedes, Eureka. I have found it. Perceived by intellect, Atindriyam is the ultimate happiness beyond the senses. To control our mind, we should use something which is more powerful than the mind, and that is intelligence. Veti yatrana chaivayam. When one experiences, one never departs from that stage. Remember, cycling, swimming, these are all skills you acquire during your childhood and you will never forget it throughout your life. Similarly, if we make an attempt to control our mind, a few months, few years may pass where you may not show progress, but the end is certain to be achieved. Sthitas chalati tattvataha. This is something which is a maxim, which is a science. It will happen. You are separated from all contact with suffering because you are no longer external focused. You are only internal focused. One does not waver from the truth. That is the essence of this verse. We end the session here. What did we learn? Steady your mind. Don't look at notifications when you sit for meditation. That steady mind gives you steady peace. It's not something which will get disturbed. By right living, follow balance, regulation. This is Krishna's gift through Ashtanga Yoga. Learning, don't always look outside. If there is a mantra, stop looking outside. Krishna is directing us inside. Train the mind, taste the joy within. Thank you very much. We have come to the end of the session when we now jump to quiz time. Prabhuji, need your help? I will change my view.
Yes, Prabhu, I'm with you.
Okay, now my view, I'm not able to change. So you will have
Okay.
to help me who raises the hands, Prabhuji.
Yeah, yeah,
Ah,
sure.
there it comes. Okay, I have got it back. Okay, first question. Now the stage is yours. Easy questions. Start from 6.15. What is the primary outcome described in this verse? Listen carefully. Read carefully. Peace attained by controlling senses through effort. Peace attained by fixing the mind steadily on Krishna. Peace attained by detachment from all actions. Peace attained by withdrawal from external objects. Who would like to go first? Krishna
Yes.
Mohan Das. Yes, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Dhanapanam. Prabhuji, B.
Peace attained by the fixing the mind steadily on Krishna.
Yes,
Sure.
Prabhuji. Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay, lock kiya jaye. The correct answer is B. Maybe I should not have used Krishna. That was an easy clue. But then, well done. The essence is to participate, and if you win, that's icing on the cake. We go to the next question. Which of the following best represents Krishna's teaching on lifestyle for a yogi? Options. Practice fasting, good habit, leads to good health and faster spiritual growth. Increasing renunciation of sleep ensures success of meditation. Balanced eating, recreation, work, and sleep supports yoga. Trying to avoid all enjoyment is necessary for meditation. I see Ramesha has raised hands. Am I right, Prabhuji?
Yes,
Now
Prabhu.
Saptadeep has raised it. Okay, Saptadeep, you'll have to wait. I'll give it to Ramesha. Yes, Ramesha. An easy question.
C for cinema.
Sure.
Yes, yeah.
Or you want to rethink?
No, I am going with C.
Perfect. Lock kiya jaye. Let's see what's the right answer. The correct answer is C. Well done. So 2 out of 2. Good going. Excellent. Question number 3 coming up on the screen. When is a person said to be truly situated in yoga?
There's
I
one
can
hand
see
already
Anusha has
raised.
already reached. Even before the question,
So
options are shown.
is it for the previous one or?
So, anyway, we have recorded as for this question. When one avoids all external activities, when the mind is fully inactive, when desires are forcefully suppressed, when the controlled mind rests in the self alone, free from desires. Yes, Anusha. Now many hands are
Hare
going up.
Krishna. D.
Sure.
Yes, Prabhuji. Free from desires, actually. So I went with D.
You tell me, should I go for D or you have an option to change?
No, Prabhuji, D for Damodar. Sure.
Okay, fine. Lock kiya jaye. Here is the right answer. The correct answer is D. Well done. 3 out of 3. Excellent going so far. 6.19 Gita analogy of a lamp in a windless place primarily teaches which of the following? Read carefully. Yogi's mind becomes completely inactive, like a flame without movement. Yogi's mind remains steady despite external disturbances. Yogi withdraws from the world to avoid all disturbances. Yogi achieves inner focus where the mind does not flicker toward distractions. I see Anusha, I see Ramesh. Both of you are answered. There is no one else. So, should I give it to Saptadeep Prabhuji because he has raised his hand now, just to encourage more participation?
Correct.
So, with permission of Anusha and Ramesh, I'll give it to Saptadeep. Over to you, Saptadeep.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dhanavad Pranam.
Hare Krishna.
It's D, option D.
Sure?
Yogi achieves. Yes, Prabhuji.
Lock kiya jaye?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay, let's see what's the right answer. The correct answer is there is some tension. Answer is D. Well done. 4 out of 4. Excellent going. So you must crack the last one so that it is 100 out of 100. In the verse 6.20 and 6.21, what is the nature of happiness experienced in deep meditation? It is emotional and depends on external relationships. It is temporary but intense sensory pleasure. It is beyond the senses, grasped by pure intelligence. It arises from achieving material success. Krishna Mohandas Prabhu, Ramesh Prabhu, anyone else? Saptadeep, all the three of you answered. I will wait for another 10 seconds if someone else wants to try. If nobody is raising it, then I'll give it to Krishna Mohandas. Am I right, Prabhuji? He was the first.
Yes, Prabhu.
Perfect. Krishna Mohandas, you have a chance to make it 100 out of 100 and also score a century yourself.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. It's C, option C.
It is beyond the senses, grasped by purified intelligence. Are you sure?
Yes, Prabhuji. 100%.
Pakka. Lock kiya jaye.
पक्का कर दीजिए Prabhuji.
Let's see. The correct answer is C. Well done. So you score a century and all right answers today. Excellent. Well done. Thank you very much. Now, I invite anyone to say or share your reflections. Short, quick, 30-second reflections. Just what you listened and what you can recollect and what you can take away. Of course, if you don't want to say on the on live, you can always share your reflections on the WhatsApp group. That is fine. Let me give you another 30 seconds. If someone wants to step in. Looks like all of you are already in meditation mode. Deep meditation.
Advanced stage of yogi. Ashtanga yoga.
Yes. They have already imbibed the lesson and they have moved into Samadhi stage. Excellent. I think this is the best takeaway I can have. Thank you very much. I'm being humorous and joyful. Take your time. No hurry. There's nothing that has to be forced to do. You can do it at your leisure, at your pace, and enjoy the experience. Thank you very much. Have a lovely weekend going ahead.
Thank you very much, Prabhu. First of all, on two accounts. First of all, for agreeing to step in for me today. Today it was my turn, but then I had some other class to be given in Bhakti Sangha group, and you very nicely agreed and filled in for me. And second announcement I wanted to make was, so probably next week we'll not have a class, right? Because I'll be traveling and you also might not be available, no? So maybe we'll give a break next week, or and then after that we can have. So which means today is 28th. The next session is on 4th. So 4th we'll have a holiday, no class, and then 11th we'll resume again as of now. If there is any change, And if any guest speakers are available, then we may probably try to fill in on 4th. Otherwise, on 11th, we'll meet. Okay. Thank you all once again. Have a nice weekend. And until we meet next time, Vancha Kalpataru Vyascha Kripa Sindhu Bhayevacha Padita Nam Pavnebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Ananta Koti Vaishnavrinda ki Jai. Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Thank you very much. I am closing the session now.
Hare Krishna.